Terry Rozier. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy that's tormented us, a little bit over the years tonight, and it's it's a process when things happen at mid-season, you change teams and move to a different city and you try to acclimate, as quickly as you possibly can. You didn't want to step on anybody's toes, but this is why we wanted him here. Is he's a great clutch performer, and he's been that way his entire career. And we needed another guy that can make plays and create something out of nothing, and that's what he basically did those last two possessions. He ended up scoring 9 points in a minute. But the step back three when he got fouled, we were kind of jammed up on that play. And then the step back going to his right, similarly as end of the clock, those plays are usually reserved for Jimmy. But it was very encouraging for all of us just to have another guy that could make a big play in a pressure moment. And the guys were just really happy for him, and we needed every bit of it. Now, as great as Terry was, down the stretch, there was everybody on our roster put their fingerprints on this game. Would not have got this win in a tough building where they play extremely well at home unless we didn't have a lot of guys step up. Nico was terrific. He really worked the last few days to be available. And produced, gave us spacing, gave us playmaking, knocked down threes, gave us some intangible plays, and our bench was very good. All the way down. Caleb, his defensive work, Jaime was very good, and DeLon and H in their short minutes were really impactful defensively, and Thomas just continues, to get more comfortable and more acclimated to what we do.
And after missing the last two games, how encouraging was it to see Jimmy do Jimmy things, and he was really active on both ends, especially on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, he had really worked as well. Nico and Jimmy, basically the last 3 days, had been pouring themselves into the training room and doing everything to make sure that they could fast track this, and that's where we are right now. Everybody feels this way at this time of the year, and you just have to live in the training room, and as soon as you can be available, give into the team, and we'll manage through all of that. But that's why we have the depth, that we have.
And then your thoughts on starting Patty and what he gave you early, at least.
Yeah, Patty, he said he was going to get 10 threes up, tonight, and since I'm on that subject, Terry, he was 5 for 6. One of the first things I told him, what if you would have shot 10 to 12? His head coach wants him to be that aggressive. His teammates want him to be that aggressive. Jimmy and Bam want him to be that aggressive. If he would have gotten 10, 12 up, this might not have been, close down the stretch. But Patty, is such a savvy, veteran winning player that if you don't look past whatever the shooting numbers may be, you don't see all the nuances of how he helps. He's been a plus basically in every game that he's played in, and he definitely impacts our offense with his spacing and his movement. He's very similar to Duncan. How he's just constantly on the move, creates overreactions, and he knows how to screen. He knows how to do things off the ball as well.
You can touch on this, but how important was Nico's 10 three-point attempts? I think they were career high, but just with the guys that are out, to have that three-point from him.
And we played him at a lot of minutes at the 5. He was playing both, the front court positions, but he's really been working on that, and his game is not defined as being just a three-point spacer. I mean, you saw it today. It was the playmaking, the passing, putting the ball on the floor, screening and rolling it into the rim. But when their centers were matched up against him, that's the play. I mean, Allen and their defense is really good for a reason. They protect the rim, they protect the paint, they jam things up, and if you're not, keeping them honest, and even the ones that Thomas and Orlando took, make or miss. That's the right play. But Nico was not bashful with it, and that's the way we all want him to play.
You mentioned the possessions where it breaks down. That's where it helps to have a guy like Terry. Obviously, the playoffs look a lot like that a lot of the time. What kind of asset can he be for you guys going forward?
Yeah, I mean, this is why we went after him. It's been a while since he's been in playoff moments, but in fourth quarter moments with Charlotte, he was that kind of player, and he was their guy oftentimes in those moments of truth. And then certainly in Boston, he had some very big clutch moments. And we have a bunch of guys that really thrive in those moments. But we know that we go to Jimmy a lot, for a lot of good reasons. But we wanted, especially while Tyler's out right now, we want to have another guy that's, special, that can create something out of nothing. And that's what this league is defined by.
Coach, how are you overall pleased with Nico's performance, and where do you see room for improvement?
Well, he knows, and we have a long list of things, but he works at it. That's what I'm really encouraged about, is that he's put his head down and gotten to work all across the board. And, since he's been regularly in the rotation, his improvement has been exponential because the player development is still there. I mean, he's in our facility around the clock, but now it's a lot more relevant. He can connect the dots now to why we're doing all the drilling and the film sessions and haranguing him, about all the little details that lead to winning. And, his head coach is seeing incremental improvements. All right, thank you.